Next one would be the key skill. And as we said before, or as you said, it's the prompting. And I have here just, like always, we have two lawyers, three opinions. I have a little bit of different format, how to display. I think it's the role, the context, and need to be very specific. Sometimes lawyers are a bit too complicated in thinking. So if they do a bit less complicated, when they talk to AI, this may help the result. And then the response format, I think it is cool to understand. He can do a table, he can make a PowerPoint, he can make a contract. So it's and you can change it. It's a good idea to have this in mind. And then the most important part, I think, in prompting is iterate and refine. Don't be happy with the first result. Always think, please elaborate further, make this shorter, make this longer. Can you focus on this? Or it's always, you need to have about 3 or 4 follow-ups until you get a reasonable good result. Sometimes it may be helpful to ask for a reference if you think you don't trust the outcome.
Can I ask you one question, Adrian?
Sure, absolutely.
So this is a topic that also comes in other trainings to the surface. Some people just start a conversation and then ask, take this role or give more context after they start the conversation. Are you that kind of person, or do you first craft carefully a prompt and then start the conversation?
Well, what I did once, and what I really like is I start with my prompt and then ask me questions until you're comfortable to give me an answer. So I think sometimes
nice.
I think it's useful to tell AI to come up with questions, and this also helps a bit thinking out of my limited mind.
Nice. But thanks for sharing.
What are the top use cases for Syngenta? I was part of this working group when we evaluated Harvey, and in that context, I tried to find out what can we do most, and I went to the internet, to a lot of documents. And that is a bit my personal view where we can make most benefit in Syngenta from these tools. So I think the first thing is really the document creation or drafting, and I saw many of you do that. I do it often for emails and letters, contract creation. I work in indirect procurement. There we have actually templates, and I'm doing this so long now that this is not a bit the core thing. But maybe if I would be younger, or if I would work in an area I'm not so familiar, it would be a good starting point, maybe to come up with a clause as inspiration. Review markup, I think that is also something you can ask questions. Just is in university, and he had a course which he didn't attend, so he just put all the stuff into one PDF and then did the online test, putting these questions, asking them with AI on the PDF he had put there. So I think that is also some part of how you can use AI. Summarising of documents, analysis and meta strategy. We will come to different examples afterwards. Translation. And I think an important thing, which we come also closer, is the searching of the Syngenta legal department document repository. Where I'm not happy, and that's my personal thing, is the legal research. And I think when I read through or talk to other lawyers, I think this is a common theme. At least currently, it may be good if I have absolutely no clue, and I want to say, okay, how is the registration of a company in Inner Congo, then maybe I get at least the first understanding. But for areas where I have a basic knowledge and I want to have a precise answer, I don't believe in the outcomes. Yes, questions, comments?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. And I think this is also what I heard from, I think, Amy, when she was also trying to get some in the IP area. They're also not very happy. And also, so this legal research, this is not something I'm confident it works yet. Next slide.
Can I say one thing about this?
Yeah, sure.
So what I have experienced with many people is that there's not yet a playbook for all use cases. There's not a book you can buy somewhere in a bookstore. It's like, hey, this is how you do it in the legal space. So even if these are the top use cases from your peers, from your colleagues at Syngenta, you really have to define your own journey and what are the use case for you. And that's why the experimentation is so important. And you will find maybe you do very complicated contracts and it doesn't work at all, but maybe for clauses in it, it will. So it's really this experimentation and finding out what are your own use cases. And then maybe you have 3 really good ones, then push for a 4th one. And maybe all the experiments fail for 5 times, but then you find a new one and you'll really build it. So that's maybe a little add-on on the use cases from my side, Adrian. Sorry to interrupt.
Absolutely. And I
I
think it's
think
really, as you say, it's if you have an easy contract. I just recently had to do some whatever renting out of our garage to someone else. You can just that works. It's very easy, but you cannot make an outsourcing contract. That probably goes beyond the skills. So what I did this based on the use cases I just listed before. I did a document which will be shared after the call, which I call guidance for the use of AI tools. And there I just have these 6 or 7 use cases. And then I did say some examples. So we have drafting, so you draft the legal memo. Then I did some examples for prompts which are meeting the requirements as I have defined them before. So let's say the first, just as example, saying what you're an attorney, you're working for a big chemical company, you need to write a legal memo to inform the senior people in the company about the lawsuit that was filed. So this is exactly good to giving a bit of context, and then it should go forward. I think that is a good thing. Just some examples, and we will share that after you, just as Joost said, just as inspiration.
Let's go to the roundtable.
Yes, now that's the final, I think one of the final slides, I think, is about this thinking out of the box. And this is something you will see in my training deck. So this is a scenario we are a bank, and we want to introduce AI in our customer service and in risk management. So we have a challenge, which as management, there's the new AI Act, which says strict rules on high risk AI use. So what I ask ChatGPT or every other tool is, please make a role play with the 3 persons, tech officer, the risk officer, and the general counsel. And they should discuss the following questions and make a roundtable, make 3 rounds of answers, and then come up to a conclusion. And you will see the outcome in the training document. That's very nicely done. It takes an instant, and you have quite a lot of arguments of all areas and a recommendation based on this theoretic roundtable.
I love this example. So cool, the simulation.
Thank you. What's next? Yeah, there's some further reading. It just came out, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago from the Association of Corporate Councils. They did a booklet. It's about 64 pages long with lots of tips and tricks and checklists. And we also will send that to you after the call. I think it's very broad, covering a lot of topics we have not even thought of. Some of them may be relevant for you, others may not. But as you said, each one has its own use case which you can find out. So I think that's something you should definitely have a look at, and maybe you can take something with you from that.